What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat series Sub-Zero. And so here we have the Mortal Kombat 3 Sub-Zero posing out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually take a look at what he comes with. Sub-Zero does come with 4 pairs of hands. We do get a pair of fists. We get a pair of flat hands. We get a pair of grip hands. Then we also do get a pair of style pose hands. Sub-Zero also does come with a right hand for his blackout fatality, which looks really nice. I do love that. He of course does come with a spine and a skull to represent his spine rip fatality. We also do get a blood squib, which does clip onto his foot, so you can have him kick somebody and make it look like blood is shooting out. He also does come with his Ice Blast effect, which does attach to his flat palm hands. And then finally he does come with the Ground Freeze special move, which all these accessories look really nice on Sub-Zero, and I am glad they included them. So what we're going to do now is actually take a closer look at Sub-Zero's details. And so here we have a closer look at the Mortal Kombat 3 styled Sub-Zero. Now, there's really nothing new about this figure other than some of his accessories. This is basically just a complete repaint of Scorpion. Now, the one thing that Scorpion had that Sub-Zero doesn't is an alternate mask, which it's understandable. Sub-Zero never had a skull mask, but it does have that same feature where the mask does come off and you can see the skull underneath that. I might end up super gluing that just because I really don't want that to come off. It's Sub-Zero, not Scorpion. Kind of wish they re-engineered that so that it stayed on a little bit better, but I can see why people would want it to come off. But overall, never really hated this sculpt. I really did enjoy it the first time we got it, and I think it's a really good representation of the Mortal Kombat 3 style ninjas, except represented in modern format, because this is supposed to be the MK3 tribute in MK10 or MKX, so it is a little bit confusing. It's supposed to be Mortal Kombat 3, but done in the style of 10, if that makes any sense. So just like with Scorpion, we do have a black undersuit, and Sub-Zero does look good. We have that really nice tanned skin, which Storm has been giving the Mortal Kombat characters, which I really do like that. The tan, I don't know, there's something about having a tanned Mortal Kombat figure that looks better than having a pale one. I don't know, that's just me. Now, we have seen a Sub-Zero with alternate arms, and I wonder if that's going to be an exclusive or not. It's still up in the air. But we do have his padded tunic right here, which is done really nice. I do like the line work on it, although I do feel like the lines should be a little bit thinner. It still looks really nice, and if we turn it to the back, it does carry over that motif. So really good job there on the paint. We do have his gauntlets, which are a separate piece, and just like with Scorpion, they can come off if you really want them to. Although, why would you want them to? Because part of the gauntlet is on his fist right here, and I like the way the gauntlet goes around the knuckle. That's a really nice little homage to the original costume. Really do like the tassel here. It's a free-floating piece attached to all this, so it's going to get out of the way whenever you're posing it. We do have a blue stripe back here on the back. You can see he has some leg wrappings and the train is going by. I do apologize for that. But you can kind of see where they would strap onto his leg. They're not really painted, but they are there, and I am glad Storm did sculpt that in. We do get the same kick guards that we got with Scorpion, except now they're blue, and the paint is just done really nicely on that. I love the way that paint work came out. And then taking a look at his feet, we do get this traditional ninja tabby socks, so that looks really good. Storm has done an amazing job with this figure. Even though it's just a repaint, that's pretty much what Mortal Kombat 3, 2, and all the previous 2D fighter games were. All the ninjas were just palette swaps, and I'm perfectly okay with getting 7 more of these guys in my collection. Now, with that out of the way, let's actually get them compared to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have Sub-Zero posed next to a Marvel Legends, Cyclops, and a DC Multiverse Superman. Here we have Sub-Zero posed next to a WWE Elite Scale figure and a Mezco 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man. Here we have Sub-Zero posed next to a Hasbro Lightning Collection White Ranger and a Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally, here we do have the Mortal Kombat 3 Sub-Zero posed next to the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 2 Sub-Zero and the Mortal Kombat 3 Scorpion. So with the comparisons out of the way, let's actually move on to his articulation. He has the exact same articulation that we had with Scorpion. If you don't know what that is, let's run through it really fast together. He does have a double ball joint in the neck, although the ball joint does go from the base of his head and end somewhere in his torso. So you can see we do get some really nice head tilt. Really do like that. It's kind of stiff. I might need to apply something underneath that joint just to loosen it up a little bit, but he can look up about that far, can look down to about there, so really good range there. Does turn left and right, really do like that. Arms are on ball sockets that peg into the torso, so they do move forward, they move back really nicely, they pivot down, pivot up, so really nice joint there. I love that ball joint. His arm does go out to the side, all the way horizontal. Does a full 360, no problem. A little bit squeaky, but that's perfectly fine. We do have rotation right here in the bicep. Double bend at the elbow, giving us only 90 degrees, but he is a pretty buff dude, so that's understandable why he can bend more. We do have a ball hinge here at the wrist, so that does move in and out. We can rotate that joint to move up and down. And of course it does swivel at the peg. We do have a ball joint right here in his torso, so he can crunch forward about that far. It does look a little weird because the padding on him does not stay in place all the time. And one thing you do want to be careful is when you do bend him too far forward, just like with Scorpion, it does create a gap. So when you move him back, you want to make sure that you cover that up, and moving that joint back, he leans back about that far. Again, does create a little bit of a gap, but it's not that big of an issue. I know a lot of people say it is, but it honestly isn't. He does rotate on that joint as well, moving his padding back. We do have another ball joint here at the lower torso, so with both of those joints, he does lean back about that far. Both those joints, and I just popped him off the ball joint. As you can see, it is just a regular ball joint, so don't be afraid to accidentally pop them off. It's an easy fix. But there we go, popped them on, and I'm just going to have to peg those back in. It's not a big deal. It's better that he pops apart than breaks, and that's something I'm always concerned about, is a figure breaking. So if you do push it a little too far, you will end up popping stuff off. Legs do kick out to the side about that far, go forward about that far, go back about that far. We do have a thigh swivel built in, so I do like that. Double joint at the knee does go back about that far, so really good range on his knee right there. No boot swivel and no rotation at the foot, but we do have forward facing pin for rocker ankle, a hinge that goes back and forward, and then a toe joint. So overall, Sub-Zero here is really nicely done, and I do like the way he came out. So what we're going to do now is get him posed for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Storm Collectibles Mortal Kombat 3 style Sub-Zero posed for my final thoughts. And overall, I really do like the way this figure came out. I love the accessory that he comes with, and I think the Ice Blast on this figure looks more like the Ice Blast from the game than the first release of Storm Collectibles Sub-Zero, and I actually like the shade of blue that this Sub-Zero has. If the first Sub-Zero had this shading of blue, I probably would have liked that Sub-Zero a little more, but as far as the in-game look for the character goes, I think this does a really good job representing it. Now again, this is a Mortal Kombat 3 style Sub-Zero in the MKX style, and I know that's kind of confusing at first, but MKX did have some skins from Mortal Kombat 3, and that's pretty much the style that this character kind of goes with. If that's not your cup of tea, you can go ahead and pass on this figure, but I absolutely love the way this Sub-Zero looks, and I can't wait to get all the other ninjas in this style, because let's face it, I just love the ninjas so much that Storm Collectibles can re-release all of them in the MK3 style, and I'm probably going to buy them all. If you are looking for a Sub-Zero, he is still available on Big Bad Toy Store at the time I'm making this video, which that is where I picked up my version of Sub-Zero. He will run you anywhere from $70 to $80 at retail, depending on the market that you get him at, which is a fair pricing, as how a lot of Storm collectible figures do range from $70 to $90, and I think Sub-Zero here is a welcomed addition to your Mortal Kombat display. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go ahead and check out all my other action figure reviews, as well as all my other Mortal Kombat videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, don't forget to check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.